Your inspiration station, Worship 94.5 FM. That was your Music Monday Spotlight from my man T.A. Thomas. Pros and cons. You guys know I don't waste any time. When there's a new voice I want you guys to get familiar with, I got to get them on the line. And we here. Man, T.A., thanks for joining me tonight on the Love Offering.
Good to hear from you. Appreciate you for this opportunity.
Man, it's not even a problem. The pleasure is all mine. I actually been following your journey for a little while now. Think I came across you like 2 years ago at Essence Music Festival, and I know you were there this year as well, but now we're moving into an era with you getting out this original music. How does that feel?
It's a whole different era right now, brother. It feels good. You know, the last 2 years have been, it's been a climb. It's been a climb, bro, you know, coming from the group and from our cover days to now putting out music that's not only original, but just real life events, man, stuff that didn't really happen. So I feel good. This moment is really special to me.
Definitely special. And you dropped your new single, Pros and Cons, today.
I got to hear a little bit about this backstory, though. I want to know what the inspiration was behind Pros and Cons, because it sounds like you in a bit of a dilemma here.
Yeah, the whole project gonna be a dilemma. You know, it's gonna be the whole thing gonna be a dilemma. But specifically, Pros and Cons, man. I'll take you back to the studio session that day we walked in. You know, most of the time you have a little conversation with your guys getting advice about girls, you know. Sometimes you can't go to the homies and get advice, you know what I'm saying? The homies don't have the best advice. But me and my boys got an honesty as policy type thing going on, and you know, we was talking about this situation, and one of my homies was like, yeah, bro, to be honest, sometimes we don't think about if the grass really green on the other side. Maybe it ain't so green. Maybe that grass kind of kind of brown. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you know, you really got to weigh the pros and the cons of these situations. We think there's a lot of options out there, but it really ain't. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, that's what the record gonna be about today. It's gonna be about pros and cons. It's gonna be about, like, before you can make a decision, you need to jot it down. You need to really figure out what it is that got you here, and what you know, and what it is that make you feel like it may be something else on the other side, and you need to look at them pros and cons and weigh them to make a decision about what you're going to do. So that's really what this record is speaking to, that imbalance of being right in the middle of this situation.
I love that outlook, and I know we're from an era, at least me, most of my favorite records come from an era where the men were not afraid to cry on records. They weren't afraid to be vulnerable and break down. You know the whole joke about R&B singers in the rain. Like it's a situation. And with this record, I did feel like there was a little sense of vulnerability in that. So is this like an actual, a real situation for you, or is this just something you was able to create because you're familiar with the situation through other people?
I'm gonna tell you this. Anything you hear from TA, it doesn't really happen, bro. I gotta keep it G with you. I gotta keep it G with you. It may not be in the most current part of my life, but through my years of being in and out of relationships and with different ladies, I'm really speaking to those stories, and specifically pros and cons. Yeah, that's been a real situation that I've been in before, you know, trying to weigh the pros and the cons of being in it at the moment. So yeah, it really happened. It's real.
I got it.
And also answer your other question that you was answering, because vulnerability is really, really big to me. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Yeah, that's the sensitivity of my brand, man. I feel like that's the only way I can make records is if I'm being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? You know, we may have a little studio day where, you know, I may have to choke up and be like, all right, man, pass that Kleenex over there, big dog. Pass that Kleenex.
Right. I feel you.
And before we got the Pros and Cons record, of course, you dropped like June 15th and Where I'm At. Now that we're to the original music, how did you decide how you were going to go about presenting yourself as an artist to your fans?
My whole approach is, once again, going back to the whole being vulnerable thing. Now, I'm from the South. I'm from Mississippi, so I was raised upon some of the best. Johnny Taylor, Tyrone Davis, Willie Clay. Come on, man. I can go on and on about the guys in Southern Souls, and you know those, man, them stories that they used to tell, you used to be like, what? Johnny, you really sleeping with two people in one bed, in the same bed at one time? Like, is that really what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? So my approach, you know, from a youngin', listen to these, those guys inspire me. I knew that I wanted to tell stories like that, but I had to do it with melodies and rhythmic cadence that was still modern, you know, where young people could catch on to, people my age, you know, where they could be like, oh, this ain't too dated. So approaching the creative process, man, really collaborating with these producers, Camper and a lot of other people that's going to be on this project, but Camper in specific, he produced Where I'm At June 15th and Pros and Cons. Those guys are all from church. We all kind of share that similar soul bluesy value, and also got a very good understanding of, how to make that stuff tasteful but still receivable where it don't seem too dated. So yeah, man, it's really that storytelling and that soul, man. That's my sauce. That's how I choose to approach every record, with a good story and making sure that soul bleed in whatever I'm singing.
I am so big on stories, real talk. Listen, have a little more time with my man T.A. Thomas. Want you guys to stick around. So much more on the way. The Inspiration Station, Worship 94.5 FM. Inspiration Station, Worship 94.5 FM. Your man RoJay holding it down for you. Love to introduce you guys to new voices, introduce you to new sounds. My man T.A. Thomas, we just premiered his new single Pros and Cons on the Music Monday Spotlight, but we're still talking to him. If you guys are familiar with my man T.A., he's been doing a lot of covers on YouTube while he's been building his fan base, and I'm interested to know, how do you even go about choosing what songs you want to cover? Because just from the ones I've seen, you're showing a range of not only taste, but just songs that you're able to do renditions for. So how do you even come up with what songs you want to cover?
Man, it was really stuff that I like listening to. I love the oldies. And so most of the time people see me covering these records, you're like, oh, okay, that's a record that was tough, or that old record, Giving You the Best I Got, Anita Baker. So it's really stuff that I like habitually play on my playlist. And I'm just like, you know what, I want to cover this. Sometimes I take requests from people, but most of the time those covers were songs that I really actually rock with a whole lot. And so that's how I did it, man. I actually got this little series going on TikTok right now. It's called Songs That You Wouldn't Expect a Guy to Sing. So I'm doing stuff like Destiny Child's Emotions, but original sung and wrote by the Bee Gees. I'm doing Anita Baker. I'm doing, all kind of old songs by the ladies. But yeah, man, that's kind of my little process behind the covers. It ain't too much, just stuff that I really like.
Can't be mad at that at all. Now, I know you've been dropping songs here and there, been feeding the fan base, but we know we're lining up an actual project and gearing up for that release. So when can we expect that, or do you have any updates on the actual project as a whole?
I can tell you that it's going to come out soon. It's definitely going to be within the next month or two.
Okay.
We're just putting up the final touches on it right now. Yeah, the fans can expect, if you heard Where I'm At, if you heard June 15th, Pros and Cons, those more stories. And I put it like this: every song on the project is episodes from little moments in my life. Stuff that didn't really happen, man. And it's going to be in that same pocket. We're going to have some more sexy records, a couple of more upbeat, mid-tempo records, I can just tell the people expect to hear some more sauce, man. Expect to hear some more of that R&B sauce, man. Pros and Cons, I'm so excited for that record, man. It came out today. We rolling them out, baby.
For sure, and we're going to continue to watch this journey, because it's been one. And I'm seeing a lot of people finally taking notice of you online, and I love when new voices and new faces catch fire, and I'm excited to see how you continue to grow and how you continue to take this thing and flip it.
All right, and I'm gonna have to come visit y'all when we come down through Huntsville, man. See what's cracking with y'all.
Man, I will build an entire show around you, and I won't hesitate to do that.
Let's do it, bro. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. Once again, my man T.A. Thomas. Y'all keep y'all eyes out for this one, all right? Got so much more on the way. The Love Offering, Worship 94.5.